Just decided to do a Saturday live after having an interesting chat with my builder, my next door neighbor, who is a master builder. He's been here for a while. So this is the building company right here, owned by a around 75-year-old woman who has a bunch of different builders working for her, maybe up to 10 builders. And they're all in their 60s and 70s. They're master builders. They do incredible things. He was just showing me some of the wood that they have prepared for a traditional bridge that they're replacing down in the town near here. So we've just been having a little chat, and I want to talk about that in a minute. I've had a few people join. Hey, what is happening? The Aduza. Doing good. I'm just outside enjoying the as the weather changes. We're going into winter now. It's nuts. I'm going to show you like what my garden's looking like. I have an incredible momiji, the maple tree. I'm going to flip this. Can I flip this? Yeah. This is my momiji, my maple tree in the backyard. It's fire right now. Look how pretty that is. I'm going to show you another angle. Yo, what's up? Wadawads. Look at this momiji. How pretty is this? This is the view that I get from this window here. I look out here and I see this flame tree. How cool is that? Thank you, Aduza. I see you on there. Thank you, appreciate it. Yeah, how cool is this? Yeah, this is just a Saturday afternoon for me. I'm gonna flip it back. I did have something I wanted to talk about because I just finished a conversation with my neighbor, the builder, and the topic was about this house that's being demolished near my house. I'm going to flip it around again and show you the house. So this house down the street here, I'll just hold still, that's being demolished right now. And I was really curious whether I was getting a new neighbor in. And this house here, where these cars are parked with these big sugi trees, these cedar trees, right here, there was a house here before too, but that's not there anymore. So I asked my neighbor, what's going on? Like, is there going to be a new building here? Since we already had one neighbor like demolish their house, is there plans for you guys to build something here? And this is when I learned something interesting. That's why I started this live, to share this, which was this land, a lot of this land is very old, and there are two kind of interesting points that's unique to Japan compared to, say, a Western country. And that is that this land is either owned by someone who has passed away, a family, and has been part of a family for a very long time, and they cannot trace it back to who that is. Or in this case of this area in Miyoko, a lot of this land is owned by just one person, and it goes back hundreds of years. So these two kind of strange cases of owning the land. Again, so one is it was owned by someone that cannot be traced anymore, and the other is one person or one family owns a lot of this land. So in the case of this house behind me, back here, that's being demolished, that land is being leased by somebody, the people who own the house. So you can own the property and you can own the land separately in Japan. I know that that's also something that can happen in other countries too. Maybe the difference here would be that rather than, you're not able to sell that land unless the owner of you're not able to sell that property, that house, unless the owner of the land agrees. And in this case, and in the same case for this house here where the cars are parked, it's no longer there, that land, the owner said no, they're not interested in selling the these people are not allowed to sell their house on the land, which means they had to demolish their house. The rule is that they had to demolish their house. That's super interesting, right? So this perfectly good house has to be demolished because the owner of the land says that's the case. And I'll come back to that. I'll talk about it in a second. Just to remind myself, I'm talking about the challenge of buying property in Japan or selling property in Japan, where in a place like Myoko Kogen is right now a super popular spot for people to buy houses. But if you look around here behind me, so we have land all the way back here, even this land here, back here, and this house here, this giant building here, all of this land belongs to one guy. And it goes back hundreds of years that his family has owned all of this land, and he will not sell it to anybody. He's not selling it, he's keeping it for whatever reason. And the land, the challenge, the interesting part, as I was talking to my neighbor about this, as we got talking, she was saying that he hasn't sold the land, he hasn't really ever sold the land. And now this place is going back into more like rice fields and just open space, which is interesting from Myoko because it's one of the most popular spots, if not the most popular spot right now in Japan to buy a house. But in 100 years' time, if this was the scenario where when people wanted to move out or if they died, the land would go back, the house would be demolished and the land would go back to how it was. Interesting, right? All right, let's see what we've got here. Some of these things. I'm going to put this, hold on a sec. Look at the giant tripod. So I'm going to put this like this and read through here. Yo, what's up? Yeah, thanks. I appreciate you joining. Thanks for the stream. Thank you. We have Oregon here. Hey, what's up? Romia. Kenneth Miller, you're in Tokyo? They're slowly starting to prepare here for the winter. We're getting snow. Today is Saturday, and on Monday we're supposed to get a little bit of snow down here, but up on the mountain we should have quite a bit of snow falling. I'm not sure if I'm ready for it yet. I'm enjoying the autumn still. Hey, what's up? Oh, Hawaii. Man, I miss Hawaii. So MG, the owner calls the shots on their land. Yeah, they do. So that's super interesting, right? It's kind of like you've lived in they do a land lease, which is normal. I've heard of this before. But they can choose not to, if you wanted to move out of your house, it's up to the owner of the land if they're open for you to sell it. Like you have to get approval to sell your house, which makes me feel, because I've looked at property before about buying property that is a leased land property, and I've thought, see, I think this is a bit of a different rule if I compare this to some other countries. I didn't think there was much of a risk, but now I'm starting to think there's more of a risk having a lease land property. Oh, so Aloha Fruits, you've got the leased and fee simple. Yeah, I get that. So for Aloha Fruits for Hawaii, are you saying that if the owner of the land, if you want to sell your house, you're the owner of the property on leased land, do you have to get approval from the owner of the land that you can sell your house? Because in this case, you do. You need to, if the owner of the land doesn't approve your sale of your property, you cannot sell the property and you have to demolish it. Interested if it's the same in Hawaii. Oh, going back here. Do you speak Japanese? Yeah, I do. So I've just been talking to my neighbor about all of this stuff and they do not speak any English. Hello from Australia. Yay. Good to see another Aussie doing well. Yes, I love Japan. Thank you, Sam. Do you own the land? Yeah, so BRZD86. Do you own the land for your home? I do. And so my neighbor was saying, I'm one of the lucky ones in this area. In everywhere you see behind me is lease land. I'm one of the very few people who own my land, and apparently it's yeah, I just got lucky. Timed will. I skipped your question. Oh, how does someone from the USA with no college get? Yeah. So timed will. You can move here if you start a business. You can just come to language school. That's one way. You can start a business. It's called the Business Investor Visa. Tracy, hey, what's up from Kent? UK, Vincent, my family's from Kent. So if you know of, let me think, Swanley, close to Dartford, my family are from there. My dad's from Greenwich, my family's from like Chelsea originally. Tracy, was it hard to get permits to do the remodeling on your Akias? So my house is not an Akia, it's a little bit different, but is it hard to get permits? You don't need permits unless it's a structural change. So it shouldn't be, it really depends what you're doing, but no permits for me. What else do we have here? Oh, Aloha Fruits, you're back to that one. Okay, so it'd be similar, so 30 to 50 years on the lease. Yeah, I'm curious here because for this one, what the people were telling me is it doesn't really matter when you decide to sell it within that lease period. You would have to still get approval from the owner whether you're allowed to sell your house. Another interesting point on that was that, oh, here comes one of my, konnichiwa. This is my, I'll walk over here for privacy. This is the owner of the sushi place. I'll move up here. ライブです。YouTube です。はい。ライブです。はい。はいはいはい。Okay, I'm over here just for privacy. I try to keep. I'll go over here. There's like a really nice little view in my garden. I'll come back to your questions. Okay, cool. Yeah, Japan's kind of a pretty private country, so I try to give people their private spaces. Sick. All right, let's go back this way. You can see my beautiful momiji in the background. I mean, it's a bit bigger, taller. Come back to some of your questions. Yay, the momiji tree. Look at that fire. Yes. How long did it take to learn Japanese? I've been learning Japanese for the last, since 2000 and, technically from 2010, but more like 2014, I actually started doing stuff. I started a language school at 2014, and it's like a lifelong thing. Wow, Excel, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Appreciate your kindness. Wow, did you know about this owning, MG, do you know about this owning versus leasing when you bought the home? I didn't know about it in this depth because I never, so I'm replying to your question, MG. Did you know about owning versus leasing when you bought the home? I did know about owning versus leasing, which is why I chose to own the house, but I didn't know it in this depth. I never wanted to buy a lease house because I wanted the freedom I wanted to have my name on the title of the land so I could choose whatever I wanted to do with it. What awards? Yeah, promote regeneration. I agree. I think what we were talking about, what I was talking about with my neighbor was, and they said they didn't really think about it, was I said, what happens in 100 years when, for example, the next person leaves their house and they decide, they're not given permission by the landowner to sell it because that's what has happened the last few times around here at least, and it's becoming more and more land widespread. So it's interesting. I'm not for or against it. It's just interesting that, for example, Miyoko Kogen being such a popular spot right now, for people to want to buy here, and then for the houses to be knocked down and become land again, it's just super interesting to me to think, in 100 years' time, is this all just land again? So this is one of the cases. I talked about this before in the video, but this is just one of the cases where one person owns all the land. The other thing in Japan, and this is especially for Akiya, is it's very difficult to trace who the owner of the property is. So these houses can go back hundreds of years, generations and generations, and that person's, so what I was just told again, I didn't know this again until just before, was the name on the property doesn't change. So the lady next door, the woman next door, was saying her great-great-great-great-great-grandfather had his name on the house property. He's no longer around to stamp when they sell the property. He can't put his stamp on there to say, yeah, you can buy it. He's gone. And there's no real way, no real easy way in Japan to sell that land and the property without the person being present. I'm sure, I haven't looked into this, but I'm sure it has to be ways around it. But I've also spoke to other Japanese developers who have said the same thing. They try so much to purchase a property, they find a really great house. Let's just say it's an Akiya. It's a vacant house. They want to buy it for whatever reason, but they get so far, they try for years to try to get their hands on the property, and they just can't, and they give up. So I think it's an interesting common problem. And it's interesting to see. I mean, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with land becoming land again. It's an interesting point. Okay, I'm going to keep going through some of these questions or comments too. Hey, Victoria, BC. That's a beautiful place to be. Thank you. I'm going to answer this. Aloha. Notice your van is left-hand drive. My van is right-hand drive. Yeah, it's just there. It's right here. There it is. It's over that side. All right. Who else do we have here? Vincent Barnes. Obviously, Japan is prone to earthquakes. Do you worry about that? Do I worry about earthquakes? Not really. Yeah, I couldn't go. I couldn't. Yeah, I don't worry about that sort of stuff. I'm interested in that. If it happens, I feel like I'm well prepared for it. In Japan, you're taught how to prepare for an earthquake, and they do come out. Especially if you're working in Japan at a business, or if you're at school, you're given training as to how to deal with the whole earthquake stuff in the way that they deal with it in Japan, right or wrong, but they still have training for that. And they have simulators, so they put you, you can choose to go into these simulators and feel what a 7 or 8 earthquake feels like. And the houses are a different topic, and a lot of people, when they buy property in Japan, Japanese as well, they're not so popular in Japan, the older properties, because they're not up to the current standards. But for example, in the case of my house, it was built in 1967. It's never fallen down, and there are no signs of earthquake damage. So it still feels structurally sound. It would have to be right on like a fracture line, I think, to really be affected by it. But we did have that 7.3 magnitude here on January 1st this year. How do you find out about available grants? So Terry Lamphead, How do you find out about available grants? You can just either Google it, and it's specific. Every area has a different subsidy, or I would speak to my town hall. Usually when you go to a town hall, you'll see like posters up for it. There's actually, so town hall is a big thing, and you go into the like environmental department, environmental and housing, and there they promote it all. Like, here are the subsidies available, spend money on your windows and get some money back, for example. But it's all heavily promoted. Even if you go to like a DIY store, you'll see in their like their renovation area, they have a counter for it where you can speak to someone. They usually have someone who helps you, like a consultant, to talk through like what's available now. They'll have posters up, and they'll also have like displays and samples of, for example, the windows that they're selling that are related to the subsidy. So there's a lot of information about it. Ever been to Ireland? I haven't been to Ireland, but I've worked with a lot of Irish people. I think there's something, I have a bit of a twang sometimes. But I would love to go to Ireland. It's on my list, as so many places are. Hey, what's up? Love is love, baby. So timed will, business visa thing. It can be it can be whatever you want. For a business visa, it can be any business you like, new or old. There's a lot of depth. Like, it's a huge topic that takes, I think, a lot of research, but it's very, as in, to give you a better answer, you can start your business, you can bring a business to Japan, or you can start a fresh business in Japan on the business visa. Yeah, it can be, as long as you're getting paid in Japan, you can choose whatever business that you like. It doesn't have to operate in Japanese, but to set up a business in Japan, you would need Japanese for sure. Thank you, love is love, baby. Hazukashii. Yeah, the park, Aloha Fruits. I didn't even go inside. So the facilities and the sports stuff in the town, Japan spends a lot of money. I don't even know how they afford it. I mean, the taxes that we pay, but the facilities that we have are incredible. We have beautiful facilities, especially in Myoko, in this area. Our sports facility, I didn't go inside there, but we have like an onsen hot spring swimming pool. We have like volleyball courts, basketball courts. It's all like carbon fiber equipment, and you pay like less than, it's like 50 cents to use it for the whole day. And you get all of the equipment included, so it's pretty incredible. I'm just reading through your comments. We want snow. Ah, yeah, it's almost snow time. I saw so my neighbor here, I'll go for a walk around here. My neighbor over this side, they were just putting in their, I'll flip it. Where is it? Flippy, flippy. They were just putting in their tulips today. Apparently, they put their tulips in now, and during the winter, they just survive, and they're ready in Gogatsu, May. The tulips come up. And these guys over here were just changing to their winter tires today. So everyone, the government's kind of saying, let's change to our winter tires by this weekend. Getting ready for the icy roads. But for now, we're all good. And if you see on the left here, these are the poles. They've just put these up yesterday. So we got this pole here. That's our snow pole for guiding when the guys are doing their josetsu, the snow removal. They'll use this pole as a guide. And I'll just show you how tall it is by standing next to it. Here we go. I'm going to set this, just setting up the camera so you can see how big I'll flip this so I can see what I'm doing. See if I'm in the picture. This is the snow pole. Yeah, the snow gets pretty high. And we're supposed to have a big snow year this year. Oh, and I'll show you this too. Boom. We have clear skies today up in Myoko. Yeah, very cool. So this house here, this big one here that has this incredible view of that, this is an Akiya, and the owner is the same owner that owns the land. And I know for a fact that he also owns this land, and he owns this land, and he owns all of this land as well. And it's slowly turning back into this. This one will be knocked down at some point when he decides to, and this one as well. Yeah, it's pretty cool, huh? Very interesting. Go for a walk down this way. This is also Akiya over this side, also owned by the guy. You can see there how everything's overgrown. There is someone that owns this property, but he owns the land. And there's Miyoko up there. Oh, everyone's coming out now. Yeah, I'll go back to your questions. Aloha, well, where are we at? Yeah, Aloha Fruits, concrete wall on a neighbor's property. Everything here, I mean, look at this, like snow damage. Someone lives here, but you can see the snow damage up there. That's just the snow crushing that every year. Pretty crazy, huh? Look through there, and we've got a jinja, a shrine up the top there. Very Japan. All right, let's go back to some questions. Yeah, everything, it's interesting for me as well. But a lot of everything you think about when you're in this, like whenever I make a building decision, my first question is, how is it affected by the snow? Where's the snow going? What's the snow going to do to this? Okay. Yeah, these poles, I just saw your Mark's comment, almost 3 meters tall. Three mats tall. Yeah, they're about 4-5 meters long, those big snow poles for the guides. They're huge. I just saw your thing, timed will, about half an inch shutting down the state with the snow. We get, I think it's about 10 centimeters, so about 3 and a bit inches, 4 inches of snow, and that's when the snow clearing machines will come out and start clearing the snow. That's kind of the rule they have here. And they start at about 3 o'clock in the morning, 2-3 o'clock in the morning, and we all get up and shovel snow to help as a community member, because you have to be on top of the snow, because it does destroy everything. Oh my God, this looks pretty. I'll show you guys this too. Wow, how's this view? You got the autumn leaves on the left and Myoko there, up the top there. Beautiful mountain. Konnichiwa. And that torii gate down here. Boom. Up to the shrine. Let's go for a walk up there. All right, let's see. Anthony Merlino. We found your channel. We are enjoying renovations. How will you celebrate Christmas in Japan? Good question. This year, what will I be doing this year? Well, I'll be snowboarding. Every year it's like snowboarding on Christmas, snowboarding on New Year. I haven't thought that far ahead about food. The food is the important thing, because you've got to find, it's either cook at home find somewhere specialized that does like Western style, what's it called? Christmas dinner, or KFC. But KFC is like, it's the last resort for me. Yeah, I got you, KFC. It is peaceful and quiet. Right now, it's like a Saturday afternoon. It is quiet here. I've got the Torii behind me. Super pretty. A few people back there. Is Miyako a busy town? It looks super chill. Miyako, when I first moved to Miyako, I thought it was very quiet. And I'm not sure if I've just become accustomed to it, but I actually find now that it feels busier to me. Yeah, when I go to Tokyo, which is not so often, I try not to go there if I can, but when I do go to Tokyo, it's very overwhelming. It's like a whole different country to out here. I mean, just look at what I'm walking up right now. This is why I moved here. Look at this. Beautiful shrine and all the leaves that have fallen. Yeah, the peak of the Koyo, the fall leaves, has passed in Miyako now. At this elevation. Still lots of places around Japan. So nice. It's good afternoon vibes. Oh, I just see your message there. Jim of the Lion Kings. Hey from Jim and Nika, Portland, Oregon. Yo, what's up? Oregon is beautiful. I love Oregon. I lived up in Washington for a bit. I loved it there. Yeah, it's cool. But yeah, I really started this live because I was excited to hear from my my neighbor about this like new information for me. And it's funny, you know, speaking to my neighbor and asking them, like, I basically wanted to ask them, hey, why is that house being demolished, or are they reformed? Because they're the company that is doing the work. So I asked them, hey, are you demolishing this to rebuild? Are we having a new like neighbor come in? Is it the same person? Are they building their house? And they said, oh no, they're just demolishing because they're moving, and they didn't get approval for their house to be sold, so they have to demolish it. So it all started with like, that was exciting to me. I should also mention, like, it's important. This also happens in Japan, lease land aside, but people can demolish their own house if they sell it. If they're leaving it, because of the amount of snow, and they just don't want to have to deal with the snow, but also it puts pressure on locals. It puts pressure on the police and emergency services. If they're not around to clear the snow on their property, it becomes a pressure for everybody else in the community. So some people just demolish their house based on this, for it to not be a problem for everybody else, which is also pretty interesting. So yeah, I started this live stream because of that. It's more about like the interest of that thing. And then so they took me after that, my neighbors took me into their workshop and showed me this new wood order they had, which they'll be replacing an old traditional Japanese bridge, which is close to the town. It's about, I don't know what it was, like 40 meters, wooden bridge, hand built, Japanese traditional style. So they've invited me to help them build it, to actually help them build it and be part of that. What do you think? Should I make videos out of that? Building an old traditional Japanese bridge, replacing it. They also mentioned in Komoro, Nagano, which is about an hour from here, an hour and a bit, they're replacing a jinja. So they've been doing it for 6 years already. It's handmade workmanship, replacing hundreds and hundreds of year old ginger, a shrine. And they've asked if I want to help them replace the shrine. I have some pretty good neighbors. And I'm like, yeah, do you think it's okay if I can film that? They're like, yeah, of course, we want to share this with the whole world. So if you're interested, let me know if you want me to document replacing an old Japanese bridge and a shrine. So they've been doing it for 6 years, and he said they've probably got another 3 years of building for this shrine. Greetings from Hershey, Pennsylvania. I went to Penn State. I wasn't too far from Hershey's. Over in State College, Pennsylvania. I've got around. Vlog it. Okay, I will do. It seems interesting to me. Konnichiwa. This is our local racetrack here. Racetrack, running track behind me. I'll flip it around, easier. We've got the running track, sports facility. Yay! And then the views. It's very pretty. Over this way here, there's like a little bath. That house there was an Akiya, and it just sold for quite a lot of money because of this view. And that's what's happening. Yeah, Miyoko's got really popular. I've had a lot of emails and questions, can I help people find property? I would love to, I don't have all of the time to do that. I have like a capacity, but Miyoko has become incredibly popular, and like mixing this with what I've been describing on this video, it makes it really like even more challenging to secure a house in this area. I think it's getting more difficult. There's very little for sale, and the price of property now, compared to 1 year back, it's definitely jumped to I'll just say it, like I think it's insane the amount that the property is going for here now versus a year ago. I think you won't find the same kind of deals. You have to be very lucky to find a deal here that the price is reasonable. But saying all this, it's like my granddad always said, something's only worth what you're prepared to pay for it. And also, like, it's still, for the price that you pay for a view like this behind me of Miyoko, you can get this view for a great price if you compare that to US, Australia, New Zealand, Canada. Yeah. So it's still really good. Running track. Yeah, and I'm going to show you the gym because it's pretty cool. I won't go all the way in because privacy and people don't like it. The gym is really nice. Hello from Oregon. Hey, I got so many people from Oregon. That's so cool. Thanks, Justin. Thanks for coming. Pop quirks. What about neighboring areas but still in Nagano? So this is Niigata, but Nagano is across there. It's like 2 minutes that way for me. And you can definitely still, like, there are still lots of areas that are undiscovered. It is like you've got to own a car, for example, to get to some of these locations. And when you get off the train from Tokyo, you need to work out how to get to your place. So there's that kind of thing. Also, there's a lot of ski resorts, for example, if that's what the interest was, that have become they're no longer operating. There's too many ski resorts in Japan. There's a lot of ski resorts. It's like over 700. And they're losing about 5 a year. This is our gym here. I don't think I showed all of this before in a lot of depth. It's about 50 cents to enter. There's a small gym there. I won't look in there too much. Privacy, but no one is in there. I think, yeah. So that's a little gym we have at the front, part of this whole complex. And it's like $2 or something. There's some people over there, so I'll just avoid them. And over here, outside, that's a foot spa. That's an onsen, foot onsen down there. I'll show you guys, because it's quite cool. Oh, 1 second. This is our swimming pool with hot spring water. And this is our foot spa. So this is so you finish the gym, you do whatever you're doing, volleyball, swimming, whatever. Come out here, and this is hot water that comes from up there down to here. Pretty cool, huh? Yeah, and then have a lot of students that come here during the week who use all of this facility. So it doesn't go to waste. It is used a lot. I think I'll just show you this last thing. I mean, this video wasn't intended to be this tour, but I just started to enjoy being outside. Yeah, foot bath. It's a foot onsen. It's hot spring water coming from the mountain. Yvonne Taylor, how you doing from England? Oh, thanks for joining. Love the walks. Yep. And we have this baseball field as well. Baseball field. Let's go here just to get the views. Got this beautiful maintained baseball field pitch, and that's your background. Cool, huh? You often get people that are doing like the summer skiing, staying fit, with like the rollerblading style all around here. Skiing is a big thing, obviously. Yeah, pretty sweet, right? And if I walked that way a little bit, a lot of people don't realize. Yeah, a lot of people, when people come to Japan, I did the same thing when I first came to Japan. The first time I visited, 2010, I went skiing in Hakuba as part of that like 8-week trip that I did. And I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna go to Hakuba and ski there. I think now, if I went back to do that, I did skiing for like 4 weeks at that time, and I was in Hakuba and up in Hokkaido. But now I understand that ski resorts in Japan are like within 5-10 minutes of each other. So right behind me here on Myoko, there are 4 ski resorts just there on that mountain. And then just to the side, a little bit further that way, around here somewhere, there's a 4th one. And if I flip it over here, let's have a look. Flip it over there, that mountain up there, that's Kurohime, more ski resorts. Can't see it right now, but there's some clouds up there. That's Izuna, another ski resort. And then that's Madarao and Tangram, another ski resort. A little bit further down that way is Lotte Arai. So yeah, if you come to Japan for skiing, I really highly recommend, don't just stay in one space. Get a rental car if you can, and just follow where the snow is good, follow where your interests are, and visit like 10 ski resorts while you're here, because you can. They're all side by side. Oh, Bachelor open today, sweet. Yes, get some rides in. I want to go back to Oregon. I'm just reading your stuffs. Yeah, Oregon is so much Oregon here. I like it though. I lived up in Bellevue in Washington, but when I say lived, I was working pretty remote, so I was traveling a lot down to Bachelor and Mount Hood, and yeah, skiing all over, traveling all over. Really love that part. Pacific Northwest will always like be in my heart, honestly. If I can get back there, if I had a place there, that'd be awesome. Where is the snow? Yeah, there's no snow yet. We're getting snow from, you don't have to listen to those posts on Instagram. There's no snow yet. It's still really comfortable weather. If it wasn't for this like kind of cooler wind, I wouldn't be wearing this jacket. Yes, New England is also cool. Boston, represent. The views are pretty. Manly, the views are pretty. Adelaide, what's up? Yeah, I'm gonna get going in just a minute. Wow, there's so many comments down here. SoCal also snowing. I just bought a snowboard today, another one that I don't need. I bought a Korua Shapes board, the pencil. I'm gonna give that a try this year. Trying to get something with a bit more speed. The 164. Get something that's bigger than I usually ride. Name your kids actors. Where are the people? People? Yeah, there's not many people. We've got some people walking their dogs here. It's always very quiet. This is Japan countryside. These guys are just walking their Labrador. We've got some kids running in the gym. This is Saturday in Japan. So part of it is also culture. A lot of the times when you don't see people in Japan is people work hard during the week or they work long hours. And when it comes to spending their time on the weekends, so I'm in like a quieter suburb right now. If I went up the mountain 2 minutes to like the tourist spot, it's just, there's a visitor center and there's buses of people that go up there that are locals. But when it comes to the weekend in Japan, people just want to relax. So goro goro, they just want to like lay around and chill out. Yeah, so a really popular type of travel in Japan is onsen ryoko. You just travel on a Friday night, you leave Tokyo, you go to an onsen hotel, so a hot spring hotel, you have a hot spring, you have a beautiful dinner, you go to sleep, you wake up, you have a big breakfast, you have a hot spring, and then you leave and you go home. You might do it for another day, but you just kind of lay around the hotel. It's one of like the most popular ways to travel in Japan for Japanese people. What's it, Matt? I like those boards. Yeah, Korua Shapes. I'm excited for it. Oh, Keenan, I think you're in Miyako. What's up? How you doing? Nice to see you on here. I need to see you around here as well. Oh, check this out. These guys are prepping for winter. I need to do this. I'm behind on this. Keenan, have you done this yet? Have you wrapped up your trees? Get your trees done. I'll do mine tomorrow. What is this? Bionic Madness. Matt, is YouTube your full-time job? It is. YouTube is now my full-time job. It's going to be mixed with other stuff. I do offer tours and I do other stuff as well, and I'll slowly roll out. There's so much going on right now. Like, I've just got back from a trip working with the Mie prefecture. So Mie is like between, say, Osaka and Aichi prefecture. close to Shiga Prefecture. I just got back from a trip there doing some promotion. So promoting some of the lesser known Japan, and my hair's blown everywhere. Yeah, so I'll be doing a few reels and stories on Instagram for the Mie Prefecture. So that's a sponsored post that I'm doing. That's pretty cool because I'm finally having this traction to be able to provide some advice and guide some of the packages that they're trying to make down in Mie to promote tourism to the more rural parts of Japan that are trying to be more out there and compete with places like Kyoto, for example. So I've had a lot of comments the whole time I've done what I do, this like content creation about, hide these places, don't tell anyone about Miyako. Everyone knows about Miyako anyway, but yeah, don't tell anyone about these places, keep it quiet. But these small towns in Japan are begging. They're begging for tourists to come to create an economy so that they can still survive here and give people a reason to come back and live here. Take people away from Tokyo, from Osaka, from Fukuoka, and bring them into these spaces. Yeah, so make sure when you come to Japan, visit the rural areas. Check out some of the videos that I make on Instagram. Do you split board? I did split board up until last 2 years back. I think I didn't do any split boarding last season. But when I was in the US, I split boarded all over California, all up the Pacific Northwest, up into Canada. So I was split boarding a lot. I snapped my board. I jumped off of a cliff and it actually snapped. Yeah, and I didn't replace it. I couldn't afford it. And split boarding is expensive, all the stuff that comes with it. So I haven't got back on a split board for a couple of years. I'm just riding Japan's got so many resorts with lots of like side country, so you can just ride off into that. Split board. Oh, there's lots of dogs here in my area. This morning I had some dogs. Just be a bit quieter because there's a neighbor over here. There's this really cute little, what's it called? A little Japanese style dog, I forget what it's called. Shinuiba? Yeah. I forget the name. But yeah, one of my neighbors just got a new dog and it's so cute and it's so friendly. All right, what do we have? We're here in the Philippines. The Philippines want to be there right now. I'm trying to get over there. I'd love to get there in the next if I could get there in the next month before winter really breaks out, because the first few weeks of winter won't be that great, not rideable. Yeah, last 2 years back, I was living in Ueda in Nagano, and I went out early season to do some boarding. The tip of my board got caught into the snow. I got launched up. I came down heavy on my back. I actually broke my my spine. I fractured 2 of my vertebrae in my spine 2 years back. And it took a really good 6 months to a year to recover from that. Yeah, so I'd prefer to avoid the start of the season from now on. That's a little side story for you. Sweet. See you soon, Keenan. Next month. How many snowboards do you have now? Maybe you should sell some old ones. I'm only down to 4 now. They're all very important. Mr. Chuckles, Pacific Northwest, Tacoma. Wow, Tacoma. Brings back some good memories. I like Tacoma. Tacoma's a good spot. I was up in Bellevue, so not too far from there, and I was doing trips down to Tacoma for different things. I have some friends that living a bit further south too. Always stop in Tacoma. Got some good coffee shops there. Cascades have some snow, nice. Yay, Tacoma's cool. You may become an ambassador to Japan in rural area. I'd love to become an ambassador in Japan for rural tourism because I'm so passionate about all of this stuff. It really feels like there's a lot of stuff that has been undiscovered here, and people are very open to showcasing what they have in these small towns and villages. Mie Suzuka Circuit. Yeah, I lived in Mie for 3 years in Iseshi, near Ise Jingu, Ise Shrine. I explored, especially Mie, I've explored it in so much depth. Kyoto, I lived in Kyoto for a while, for a year. I explored Kyoto in so much depth. And the map that I've made on the drop pins that I've put on Google Maps is just nuts. So this is another income that I have now, that I'm starting up now, but creating a map for Rexp and just putting all of the drop pins that I really think are worth being on the map. I'm starting with Niigata and Nagano and probably Hokkaido for the first part of creating this map, because it takes a lot of time. But yeah, creating my map with all of my recommendations from the years of travel and visiting all of these places, all of the prefectures in Japan. And Suzuka Circuit, there's some good hiking. So right between, up in Suzuka, and there's some good onsens there too. But in Suzuka, there's Suzuka Sanmyaku, the mountain range in between Mie and Shiga prefectures. And you can hike that whole thing from the top to the bottom. And I've done it a few times. Justin, thank you so much. Yes, coffee time. I'm gonna get some coffees tomorrow. You appreciate it. I got a good coffee shop close by, Miyoko Coffee. And it's like the best coffee shop that I have around here. I'm there every day. And I just don't need to say anything anymore. Just walk in and they give me my coffee. Shiba Inu. Yeah, that's it. Shiba Inu. We have that. This house here has a Shiba Inu and another dog that just like walks around on this roof all day. It's super cute. Watching from NC, USA. Very cool. Thanks for joining. How am I adjusting to living in Japan? Yeah, living in the countryside has been pretty natural. Like living here has been like a natural progress for me. And I've lived in Japan now for about 7 years altogether. I think it's 7 now. I'm very used to it. It very much aligns with who I am. Japan is like a super good match for my personality. I've never had any like real adjustments, but there's definitely questions like, yeah, why are you demolishing your house? It's perfectly good. So like there's a lot of cultural questions that you have living in a new place. Twilight Summer, thank you for following. Aloha Fruits, my friends heading to Miyoko. The backcountry, yeah, for sure. So the cat skiing, what is it, mountain days, cat skiing? Yeah, the cat skiing will be over here, behind my house. I'll flip it, I'll show you where the cat skiing is. Boom. Cat skiing is over there, on that hill. Yep, that's where the cat skiing is. And the backcountry, there is backcountry here. It's a little bit sketchy in Japan. I do backcountry, but yeah, the snow is just intense. It does flatten out in a lot of spots. You really have to know where to go if you're doing backcountry. It can get really dangerous really quickly. And they just don't have the same kind of, they're not there yet with like the Western countries in how their backcountry works. They're getting there, like Nozawa, Hakuba, Miyoko is getting there, up in Niseko, just pushing for the backcountry stuff and like having the gates, making sure that you've got like the safety checks and things, but they're still kind of far off. And in saying all of that, I feel like because of the amount of resorts that we have in Japan and also all of the lift structures, you can get away with not going backcountry if you didn't want to. There's a lot of side country. Just gonna put this up. All right, I'm gonna finish in a couple of minutes. Last few questions. That's a serious injury. I'm glad it wasn't worse. Yeah, my back injury was pretty bad. I still have days where I wake up and my back is tight. I guess that's going to be forever now, but I do exercise and I'm constantly on the move, as you can see from this video. South Australia, what's up, Natalie? Oh, Stevens Pass has got some snow. That's sweet. They'll probably close it. Jim pinned me on Google Maps. Yeah, it's crazy. You can find me so easy. A friend of mine also does like content creation stuff, and I was going to meet him in Tokyo, and he didn't write back to my messages, and I'm like, I could just find him in like 3 minutes or less. I can just find where he lives. It's exactly. Scary. Yep, you guys know where I live. Do I know any real estate agents that helps with Akiyas? Yeah, there's a few. I will put some more information about it, but Akiya can be complicated. Akiya is actually complicated. I'll be bringing out a video in the next maybe 2 days about Akiya. Akiya is complicated. If you can just buy a cheap house and not an Akiya, get a cheap house. Akiya is just complicated. I wouldn't recommend an Akiya, personally, for a variety of reasons. Last couple of comments on here. Yeah, no, cyber stalking. It's so easy to find people. I mean, if you only look where I am now, you'll see my location. Thank you for catching the live stream. Sweet, thanks, Aloha Fruits. Guys, thank you for joining. I'll finish off with this background with Miyoko. Sun is setting, 4:30 p.m. I am not ready for the darkness yet. Look at this place. Wow. Thank you so much for joining the live stream. Appreciate it. And then just to wrap it up, I was talking about lease land in Japan. I'm glad I could show you some of my neighborhood before the snow hits in the next few days. I think it's going to change pretty quickly here. Get to Japan in the winter if you can. Otherwise, I'll see you on the next one. Take care.